All right. I want to thank you all for coming. Like we mentioned earlier, this this meeting will be recorded and will be on our YouTube later this week. So if you missed out on this meeting, you can easily find it there. Right now, we are going to be going over some questions that we've had over the past 2 months on questions about the OverPower app and some functions that people have been questioning, what they can do, just a basic guide for those who are wanting to learn more about this system. So what I'm about to show you is how to add a user, how to delete a user, and how to check the user permissions. This is for whenever you have a new employee that you want to add into the system or add to your sub account, and you want to manage what they are allowed to take control of, whether that be automations, calendars, whatever you may want to be in charge of. Then we will teach you how to do that here, along with some other things. So starting off with adding a employee, what you'll need to do is on your sub account, scroll all the way to the bottom of this tab, go to settings, then go to my staff. On this page, you will want to hit the plus add employee. And then from here, you will just fill out the fields accordingly. And I won't do it right now because it does take a while to complete the verification process where you have to verify your email and such. But looking further into this section, you will see this section right here called the roles and permissions. This is how you manage an employee's abilities in the sub account. So you can change the account settings, account tools, automations, be in charge of calendars, view and manage certificates, and so on. It's a very extensive list. It goes into very much deep detail, and yeah, very, very user friendly. Now going back, let's say you want to create a workflow for this new user. You want to assign a contact to this user and basically make an automation for them so that whenever you have a new contact, you can assign it to them easily. So you want to go to the home page, go to automation. You want to hit create workflow and start from scratch. I already have something made. So I am going to go with, one moment, right here. Okay. And from here, we are going to want to not hit the new trigger button, but hit the plus sign right here and hit assign to user. Just to give it a second. And from users, let's just use me as an example. Hit Colin Powell, save action, and be sure to hit save after every action you make in a workflow. It will mess things up if you do not do that. Then as an additional feature, let's make send internal notification. Let's do an email from dummy user at gmail.com, assign to user, and let's just say you have been assigned a new contact and save action. Then we are going to want to hit settings, allow reentry on this because we want them to be assigned to multiple contacts. And if need be, we can set specific time as well. This will basically only send the notification, or the workflow will only work during work hours. So let's hit save, go back to builder, back to workflow. Then next we want to go to contacts, and we can just do a random contact here. Let's go with Rampel, scroll on down to actions, hit automation, and add them to the one that we just made.
I think we forgot to publish that particular workflow. That's why.
You're exactly right. Sorry about that.
So while Coven is publishing his automation, if you have made any automation and you haven't published it, it's still in draft mode. It will not show up within the contacts or any other places. It will stay within the automations. So if you want to utilize these workflows, please remember to publish them.
All right, now let's try again. Go all the way to the bottom to actions, add active, and then hit add. And within these next few seconds, I should get a notification through email saying that I have been assigned a new user. So there we have how to add your new employee and how to basically make a workflow for them so that they can be assigned to certain contacts whenever you need them to be. Now, obviously, you do not need to follow this exact automation formula, but this is a very simple one that if you want to do it manually, it is very easy to do so. Now, let's go on to the next section, deleting a user. So it's pretty much the exact same as adding one. You will need to go to settings, go to my staff, and within this section, you'll see the Excel button right here. It will say remove location. What this will do, if you hit enter remove, it will basically, what it says here, that will be unassigned from calendars, campaigns, conversation, contacts, smart lists, opportunities, triggers, affiliate numbers, and so on. And that's how you remove them from this location, from this sub account. But before you do any of that, you will want to check to see if they are assigned to any contacts or if they have any workflows that are currently active. So going back to automation, search up the workflow that we just created. We will either want to remove this workflow entirely, or we will want to change it to a different user that is in our system so that they can start taking on the contacts that what I would used to take on. But just for this section, we are going to remove this workflow entirely. So going back to workflow, hit the three dots right here, delete workflow, confirm, and there we go. Then we want to make sure that no contacts are assigned to this deleted user before we delete them. So let's go on to the contact that we just assigned, scroll down to actions, and it is no longer there because we took away the automation. And then next we can go to settings, go to my staff, and then remove them from the location. And that is basically how you add and remove a user, as well as, Miss Wen, did you have a question?
Yeah, what if some users have more than one contact being assigned to them? How will we find them?
Well, you see, you're asking if a contact has
Let's
multiple
let's say if there are 50 or 100 contacts assigned to you to Coven Powell, do we need to go into each and every one of them in order to remove them or change their assigned user, or is there a faster way for that?
No, there is a much faster way. If you go into your contacts tab, and if you hit more filters on the right-hand side and type in assigned, then click on, thank you, Lori, assigned, and hit assigned to Coven Powell and apply, you will see all of the contacts that are currently assigned to core the user that is in question. So thank you for the question. This is a much faster way to basically filter out all the contacts that are currently assigned to them. And there are plenty more filters that you can mess around with to get the exact list of contacts that you need. And I believe that is everything for adding and deleting users, as well as checking their permissions. Any other questions about this? Next, I'm going to be going over adding, editing, and removing pipelines in your sub account. So what exactly is a pipeline? A pipeline serves as a visual representation. If you'll go to the Opportunities tab, here we have the pipeline. A pipeline serves as a visual representation of your sales process. It helps you track leads, customers, and so on as they move through your business funnel. It is a crucial tool for organizing and managing your sales activities, ensuring leads receive timely follow-ups and that opportunities are nurtured effectively. You can basically customize stages, measure performance, see how much you are earning from the certain opportunity within the pipeline, and basically just get analytics, general analytics from each contact or opportunity within the pipeline. Now, as far as making a pipeline, what you'll want to do is go to the pipelines tab in the top, create new pipeline. Let's just say dummy pipeline. And for the stages for each step in the pipeline, we want new lead one, loss, and do not disturb. And then hit save, let this load for a second. Then going back to opportunities, we can see new pipeline that we just made and multiple stages that we made as well. So there's creating and editing of the pipeline. Now how to delete one, you simply just go to pipeline and hit the trash can icon right here. Another question that we received is how do you create a QR code for your business? This is the modern times. We want QR codes so it's fast, simple, and easy to reach our websites. So what you'll want to do is you want to go to sites, then move over to QR codes and create new. Now, this is a very simple process, very easy. So let's name our QR code just dummy website. And next, we want to add the URL to the website that we want this QR code to be linked with. So I am going to add the OverPower. And hit next. And here we can customize the QR code however we see fit. We can change the background color. We can change the border color, marker, change the shape and form of the QR code. So you may see different designs on them as well. Let's go with the 4 squares and so on. We can also add logos and upload our own images as well. And the page background for this, let's use this one right here. And there we have a background for our QR code. So next, let's go on save. All right. And there we have our first QR code. Now, we want to see if this QR code actually works. So let's take a picture of the QR code. And here we see on screen, it takes me to the login page of the OverPower app. And just to make double check, let's take another picture as well. And we're good to go. Now, let's say you want to look at the, yes, Mr. Buff?
Is there a way to check how many times the QR code was scanned? Is there any sort of a way that we can understand how much
Yes.
our QR code? Sorry.
Yeah, I was just about to go over that, but thank you for reminding me. Like Mustafa was saying, is there a way to check to see how many people have scanned this QR code, how many times has it been scanned, and just overall looked at? What we can do is check the analytics section, right? And what it will do is it will take us to the page for the scanned QR code, and here, so yeah, it does say 6 QR scans and 4 unique scans. We did practice before this meeting just to make sure, but here you see regular QR scans and unique QR scans. What this means is how many different phones have actually scanned the QR code rather than QR scans, which is how many times has it been scanned in total. So unique is different people, scans is total. And that is it for a QR code. Next, let's go over custom fields. We've gotten a lot of requests for how to make your own custom fields and the general purpose of it. Custom fields are basically a tool that allows you to extend the standard contact information. Let me just bring up custom fields real quick. Allows you to extend the standard contact information beyond the default fields provided. This customization is essential for businesses that need to track specific data points relevant to their operations. It is good for data collection, segmentation and targeting, workflow automation, and just overall analytics. Now, to make your own custom field, you will want to go to the top right, choose Add Field, and let's say that we want to add a birthday custom field. We will want to choose Date Picker, and it will give us the preview of the custom field. We can choose the date that we want to choose for the birthday. Hit next, birthday. And in this next section, we see object as contact or opportunity. Excuse me. Depending on whatever we picked, this is where the custom field will show up. So if we choose contact, it will show up in the context of your sub account. If we choose opportunity, it will show up in the opportunity section of your sub account, which is where the pipeline is. So for this, let's choose contact, and let's put it under as additional. Hit save, and there we go. Now let's go back, go to contacts, choose a random contact, and should be, well, here's date of birth. Mr. Fun, did I happen to do something wrong here?
You just added a custom field. Was it in some other folder? Maybe just check out your custom fields again. Go into your settings, custom field. It's in the additional info.
Yes,
Or
it's
contact, then go back into the contact section in the additional info. It would be at the bottom, I guess. Yep, there it is. Additional info.
Here we go. And here we have the custom field that we just made. All right. Now, like what Mr. Bill was talking about earlier, he mentioned folders. So within custom fields, you are able to organize your custom fields into certain categories, such as contact, general info, additional info, important stuff, proposal information, and so on. What we can do here is we can actually make our own folder to organize our custom fields. Let's say just dummy folder. We can select as contact custom fields, and we can move on to search for the custom field that we just added to additional info, and we can move it to the folder that we just made, dummy folder, and there we go. We have an easy way to organize all the custom fields that we have made, and these folders will become apparent within contacts or the opportunities board as well. Now, I am going to pass it over to Mustafa, where he will explain the different workflows in association with custom fields.
All right. Would you mind not you wait for me to finish? All right. So when we are working with different clients, one of the major questions that we get with almost all of our clients is, so they have a sales process to reach out to potential clients and current clients and so on and so forth. And when their team is handling these sales calls, what they find problematic is after the sales call has been made to, let's say, a core client, and they go within that client's information page, they find all of these fields which are not filled out. There is no first name, there's no last name, there's no email, there's no business name, and there's no other fields which are important to their business. So what they reached out to us was, is there a way that once the call has been made by our team, there could be a system which could check if those fields have been filled out or not? And I said, yeah, we can easily do that. So let me just go ahead and share my screen and open the automations first and share my screen as well. So all I did for them was made this workflow, which I'm going to call, if it allows me, call status, or it could be said something like check custom fields after call. So zoom out a little bit. It's too zoomed in for my comfort. Or perfect. So within the new trigger, the something that will initiate this workflow would be call. So this particular call, I'll select the filter to be the direction of the call would be outgoing, so that it's a sales call. I have other filters if I want to choose from, which are the call status. It could be a completed call, yet that sounds doable. So if the call is outgoing, that means it's been made by us and the status has been completed. So it was a completed call. The person on the other end picked up and there was a conversation that took place. I don't need to set the workflow over here. So I'm just going to delete that. This works perfectly. I can save this as a trigger. So whenever a call has been made from my team and the call was a completed call, so the call, it means that the other person on the other end of the call picked up the call and had a conversation. I want this particular automation to fire off. And what I need to do is to check if else. So the system is going to check whether those fields were filled out or not, or whether those fields are empty or not. So the condition is check the basic contact details if they're empty or not. The first branch would be empty, and then the second branch is not empty. So this would be the by default the second branch. So that means it's not empty. So within this, I'll say the contact details. For example, the full name. Yeah, the full name. I don't want to go is empty. Then I'm going to add another condition, which would be, or let's say the contact details email is empty as well. The phone can't be empty, otherwise the call wouldn't have been made. So is empty. And this way you can add as many conditions as you want. So for example, within the contact details, you have the standard fields, the first name, last name, company name, address, and so on and so forth. Then you also have your custom field. So for example, if you have a custom field like Cohen just made birthday, if the birthday field has been filled out or not, or if let's say you have another different field by the name of, let's say, what the source is or what their needs are, or which services were they interested in, whether they are interested or not, how would they rate us, and things like that. So you can select any one of those. And then you can make this entire check and balance whether these fields are empty or not. So this is the basic thing I did for them. I saved the action. And now it's going to check whether the basic contact that was called, their details are empty or not. If they are empty, what we did for them or for our clients is we first sent out an internal notification to as an email, and it was sent out to the assigned user, and we can send it out to a custom user or a custom email or a particular user. So the custom email could be, let's say, info at the rate yourbusiness.com. It could be sales at the rate business.com, or it could be a particular user, for example, the business manager or the sales manager or whichever team it's about. And that's the way we did it. Apart from that, we can send out notifications as well. what you can do is, or instead of notification, another thing that someone wanted, one particular client of ours, what they wanted was that whenever something like this happened, they want that particular assigned user to receive a task. So task title, this contact person. By the way, I can use custom values, but or I can just do that. Contact, full name. If it doesn't have a name, it won't show up. That's why. The contact name doesn't have all complete details. And I can add more description. Then I can select a due date. So for example, they said it was supposed to be due date in that same day and assigned to the contacts assigned user. Save action. Something like that. Okay, so this was the basic automation we created for them. Even though it's very basic for us to create it, but this in terms of its effect is really powerful. So if your agency or if your company is making, let's say, 100, 200, 500, or even 50 calls on a daily basis, this will check if all of those contacts are completely taken care of, if they have all the information or not. And if they don't have the information, it will notify the branch manager, it will notify the user, it will also add a task onto that user to go back and add those details. Because every detail about every contact person is, at the end of the day, very necessary. So, yep, confirm. I don't want to save that. Moving on, let's see. All right. So, another question that we've received multiple times from multiple different clients is, what is this? So whenever they log into the system, whenever they open the app.overpowermarketing.com, this is what they see, a dashboard. So what exactly is a dashboard and how can they make changes to it, or if they want to have different one for different people, what's it all about? So the dashboard is basically a consolidated data of everything that you have within the system. It could be your pipelines, as mentioned in the opportunity status. It could be about the value, the conversion rate, the task that everyone has. You can select which user you want to talk about, pending, completed, or all. Then you have the manual actions, or the way we set it up is the power dialer. Then you have your funnels, your stages distribution, your lead source report, and analytics, and you can even add and remove a lot of things. So let's move on to the first part. How can I create a dashboard by myself? So click over here and add a dashboard. Now I can name it anything I want. So let's say for this example, it would be Mustafa's dummy dashboard. Now I have two options. The first one is I can keep this enabled, which would make this a private dashboard. What this means is it says set up this dashboard so only you can see it. It won't be visible to other teammates. So I can enable this so that it will be my dashboard. It will contain everything that I need to do or I need to take care of. But if I disable it, what it says is I can assign who can see it. So if I don't want my colleagues to see it, I'll have it no access. But if I want the admin of the account, for example, in this case could be my manager, let's say, so the user account admin can have the full access. And this was the agency user. I confuse it with the account user. The agency user would be the person managing the entire system. So that would be OverPower Marketing or us. But the account user is the people who may be your colleagues. So they shouldn't have any access. Only me and my manager needs the access. I can click confirm. And now I can have my own personal dashboard. So now there are some basic standard, not exactly standard, but most used widgets that I can start off with, or I can just start off with any widget I want, which the system allows so far. So let's start with a lead source. Do I have a lead source over here? Yep, I do. Let's go on into that. Please let me select properly. All right. So first we have a lead source. What it says is what the source is, how many total leads are, what's the value of those leads. Excuse me for a second. What's the status of those leads? Are they open, won, lost, abandoned, and what is the win percentage? This is all I can see. Now, the usual problem that people have with lead source reports is that within the opportunities, anyone can go in and type what the source of the opportunity is. And when people have the access of typing it out, it includes one major problem in most cases. Unless you have a pretty efficient team, then it wouldn't be a problem for you. But for the teams that we've usually seen, that they have a major problem, and that is the human spelling mistakes, double typing, caps lock on, caps lock off, things like that. Or maybe what we've seen is, for example, that in some accounts, what people have done is they have entered a two word source without the space bar. So where it should say Boise labor mats, it was considered as Boise labor mats without the space in between. So what you can do is, if you can create a custom field around it. So what that custom field would do is that would contain the data, and that data would not be able to be edited by any one of the users, but only by the manager. And then you can add those widgets. So if you have a custom field that you want to show in on your dashboard, you can go into the contacts, select the contact by source, the count of contact, and within the condition, you can choose, where does it say, here it is, and I can select whichever custom field I want to talk about. So is there, all right. Do you currently have any appointment or test appointment reminders? Is yes, I could have one for that. And then I can click, did I forgot something? Why can't I save this? Yes, save, save. All right, for some particular reason, it's not allowing me to save. I don't know what that issue is. If anyways, but if this issue was not occurring, I can save it and I can display it on the dashboard. So that is the way on how you can add different widgets, make sure that the dashboard is visible to you or just you or to other people as well. You can add an array of different widgets within the contacts. You have counts of different things. Sorry. Then you have within the appointments, opportunities, calls is a nice thing that people usually have. So incoming calls by statuses, outgoing calls, and things like those. And if you find something that's not present over here and you wanted it to be shown, you can go into the elements and then you can use the embed type. So what embed does is, if I hover around it, it says embed external widgets, Google Sheets, YouTube videos, and things like those. So if you have a data sheet on your Excel file or your Google documents, you can have those displayed over here as well. Since I don't have any right now, I would have shown it to you. If I make a custom one, let's see what that would, yeah, that's maybe that could be something. If that's something you're interested in, you can just reach out to me and I can help you set it up. But for now, this is all that you can do. And maybe even more, if you just take some time and get into it, you can find out all of the different possibilities within it. So, yep, that was the dashboard, the custom fields, the QR codes, the pipelines, the contacts, and deleting a user and adding a user. Is there anything else that you people feel that we have not covered, or you have any questions regarding the things that we have covered already? Anyone? Not even a teeny tiny question? Okay, in case there is no question, we should wrap it up today. It has been a good meeting. Thank you all for being here. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, any suggestions, feedback, you can reach out to us on our email address, or you can reach out to us within the OverPower Marketing app. Yes, Cole.
And just as a reminder, if you came in late and didn't see the entire meeting, do not worry. We are recording this meeting and it will be available on our YouTube channel later this week, most likely on Friday. Also, if you have any questions of anything that was not covered in the meeting, or if you would like us to discuss something, or if you want to create a meeting with us about a certain problem, about a problem that you might be having, or just something you want made, give me a second to share my screen. So you can go to your dashboard, scroll all the way to the bottom, and click on Submit Request. If you use this option and fill out the fields accordingly, and just tell us whatever the request is, we can be more than happy to help you out. Or you can just schedule a meeting with us directly. But did you have anything else?
Everything that we had. And yep, that's it.
Yep. All right. Well, I want to thank you all for coming, and we will see you next week.